Hello, folks. We are going to be going live in a couple of minutes. Thank you for tuning in, and please consider this a sound test. Hi, folks. We're just doing a second sound test. Looking forward to connecting soon. We're taking my watch off at the moment.
Oh,
Am I going to have to buy a new strap again? All right. So, hi folks. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We are doing a horse-in tour today. Cricket's hanging out inside for the afternoon, and she's mildly bored. Are you mildly bored? Yes. So she's going to take a nibble at my watch for me. And then maybe check my pockets in a minute. But we're really grateful for all of you who are tuning in with us this afternoon. Yes, Pockets store cookies in general. They do, Cricket. We love you. As you may have figured out from some of our other live stream videos that we've got going on here, we don't have Wi-Fi that extends out to a lot of our horses' fields. So we're going to hang out with Cricket for a little bit and then cut to some pre-recorded videos. Oh, we're so melty. These days our live videos are just me enjoying getting affection from all of our residents, so I apologize for that. So for those of you who are just tuning in, maybe you haven't joined our live videos before, we're here at Catskill Animal Sanctuary, where we rescue and rehabilitate farmed animals who are in urgent need of our help, in need of rescue and rehabilitation, and and we offer them a safe haven for the rest of their lives. Oh, we're gonna take them. Are we gonna take the walkie-talkie? We've been caught. And we've rescued over 5,000 animals in the 19 years that we've been doing this work. We've got about 300 residents who call the sanctuary home right now, Cricket here being one of them, and of course we'll talk about her story shortly. But we also know that 5,000 animals, while it makes the world of difference to them, it's small in comparison to the, quite frankly, billions of animals who are in need of our help. And so we like to share their stories and let them be ambassadors for their species. And to show their true personalities with all of you, so that hopefully we can make the world a better place for all animals, regardless of whether or not they're here at Catskill Animal Sanctuary. And part of that is also we advocate vegan living. So we will be going and meeting some of our rescued horses this afternoon, and I think Cricket's going to hang out in the back of our stall. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut to some pre-recorded footage, and then we'll come back and you can ask me any questions. But the first one was, I just couldn't help myself this morning when I was capturing the footage. It was a beautiful day out in the horse field, and Rowdy and I want to say it's Hazelnut. Nope, it was Eloise. Rowdy and Eloise were just having a great time just out in their field. Rowdy's totally lounged out. So we're going to cut to that just so you can get a nice scenery. Awesome. So that was just to set the scene for some of the horses who we're going to hang out with this afternoon. And since Cricket is being so perfect right now, I think I'll just tell her story at the moment. And then when she decides that she wants to stop cooperating with us is when we'll go to some of the pre-recorded footage. Right, sweetheart? Do you ever stop cooperating? Sometimes. Oh, but you're just so sweet. So Cricket here is someone who was rescued from a truly horrific animal hoarder and abuser. Someone who I don't think understood the depth of what she was doing to the animals who were supposed to be in her care, but instead were in her neglect. And Cricket spent years tied to a tree on a very, very short metal chain that ultimately kind of grew into her ankle, where it was wrapped on and chaining her to this tree. She was undernourished, like so skinny. She wasn't given enough fresh water. And when she was rescued, this beautiful horse, had a bullseye spray painted on her flank. We don't know if she was being shot at, what was being thrown at her, but it was certainly a terrible reminder that she was seen as an object for cruelty, unfortunately, prior to getting here. And so when Cricket first arrived at Sanctuary, she was tough as nails. Now she's not cooperating. She's like, I'm stubborn, I do what I want. You planned on having the story with me right here, so I'm going to go in the back corner of my stall and hang out there. You're going to see a little bit of that theme in some of our pre-recorded footage as well. Horses and Kaden are, we like each other, but also horses don't find me terribly interesting, I gotta say. I hope that you find me interesting. But, so Cricket, she was tough as nails when she arrived at Sanctuary. Thank you. And she was just ready to throw you against the wall if you got too close to her. She really didn't trust people, and she had no reason to. Thankfully, she's a testament to just how resilient our rescued residents have shown us time and time again that they are. And she has come around. She is an incredibly, incredibly affectionate horse. She has made pretty much a full recovery here at Sanctuary, emotionally including. So she's doing really well at Sanctuary. We're incredibly grateful to have her personality around. She's still very stubborn, and I think that's what got her through her experiences. Right, Cricket? And so she'll still do what she wants, and when she's out in her field, it does not matter the weather. She is just out in all sorts of weather because she enjoys being free. But what we're going to do right now, do we have any questions before? Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to cut to some pre-recorded footage with my friends Colette, I think, and I forget who else appears in that one for a little bit, and leave any questions that you want me to answer in the comments. We're here right now with, we almost got you on there right the way that we wanted, Colette. So, Colette. How are you? So we're here right now with Colette, who is the head horse in this field and who's having none of me this morning, which is totally okay because this is your home. So I'll just sit here or stand here while she nibbles over there. You gonna look in the camera though? I appreciate that. I consider that pretty cooperative. So Colette is quite a petite horse. You can see she's really not that big standing next to me, and I'm honestly not that big of a person. But Colette is the smallest horse in this field, and she is also our boss lady. And she is also gonna say hello to you right now. Maybe work on that equipment a little bit. Spook herself on some equipment. I promise it's not gonna move. I have it on a tripod just for you. So behind Colette is Eloise, who's our little pretty princess of the field, who's a delicate horse. And then all the way around this way, we're just going to turn this a bit, or am I not going to turn it? It's up to you, Colette. We might not turn it because it might hurt Colette's feelings. Sometimes if a leaf moves the wrong way, horses get upset about it. So, but I want to say hello to Eloise. I mean, not to Eloise, to Hazelnut as well. So this is Hazelnut back here. And then behind Hazelnut we have Echo the brown spot and Passion the white spot. So we are in here with 5 mares and 1 gelding named Rowdy. And they have been a very, very happy herd. They're actually in what was Amos's old field, so they're new arrivals to this particular field, and they've really been enjoying themselves, exploring their new home, running around, doing all sorts of fun stuff, and of course enjoying some good grass on a beautiful spring day as well. But Colette, she is the smallest horse in this field. She's totally bossy, and she was rescued with our guy Rowdy, who we're going to hopefully say hello to in a minute. They were rescued from an animal hoarder in Saratoga, New York. It was a fairly large hoarding case with many, many horses who were in truly horrific condition by the time that we took them in. And so Rowdy and Colette were wary of humans at first, and Colette is still a little bit more on the timid side, I gotta say. She's a real horse's horse, except that she also is not a huge fan of other horses when they're trying to hang out with Rowdy, because she's a little bit possessive as well. It's just who she is. But they were in incredibly rough shape, and we see this happen so often. Farmed animals, when you live in a rural area, they tend to be the kinds of animals who you will also see included in hoarding cases, and it's a heartbreaking situation where oftentimes the people who are hoarding the animals feel like they have an intense attachment to the animals who are being hoarded, but they don't have the insight or the awareness to realize what they're doing isn't actually taking care of these guys. Rather, it's that they've got so many more animals than they can properly care for, and the neglect can be quite extreme. So it was heartbreaking to see super skinny Colette and Rowdy come to Catskill Animal Sanctuary back in the day, but they're doing really well now. We're just going to focus this on on Hazelnut for a second, and then we're going to go and try to get some video footage with our guy Rowdy. What do we think? Maybe. So we were chatting a little bit about Colette over in that video, while Cricket pretty much just hung out with us here in the barn, nibbling on my watch again. I see. I need that, actually. Actually, I do. I need my watch. Thank you. She doesn't want me to know what time it is, so that I will hang out with her a little bit more. Maybe that's the message I'm going to take from this, Cricket. Thank you. Do we have any questions coming in about the video that we just watched, Lauren? No? All right. I know that we did have one question in advance. Oh, we have a question. Okay, great.
A question came in right when I said we had no questions. So it's Heather is asking, were they involved in any of the racing in Saratoga?
So in Rowdy and Colette's case, they were from an animal hoarder, and I don't believe that they were used in any racing. Colette is not a thoroughbred, nor is Rowdy, so it's highly unlikely. They wouldn't have been used in standard horse racing. So we do have some horses here who have been rescued, who were previously used in the racing industry, just not the horses in that field. And we are going to actually see some horses eventually in some of these videos who were rescued from a breeding facility. And then I know we also had another question, which was, do any of our horses have shoes? And the answer is that most of our horses do not have shoes, because they're out on soft ground all day long. They're not walking on any sort of paved road, and they're not doing heavy, strenuous exercise. So there's really no reason that they would need to wear shoes, just like I don't really need to wear shoes when I'm just walking around my yard or in my house. Because my feet are going to be fine on that kind of ground. But these guys, sometimes they'll have orthopedic issues that need to be corrected with shoes, and so those are the ones who we will actually shoe. But it's relatively few in the grand scheme of all of the horses who we have here. And Lauren is also pointing out to me that our underfoot goats are marching in, so we may also say hello to them in a bit. And in fact, yeah, do we have any more questions coming through? Because if we do, we'll move to the underfoot goats and say hi to them while we answer those.
Everyone's just saying that they love the pattern of Cricket.
Oh yeah, she's a beautiful paint. And she has, it's really hard to see here in the barn, but she has the most piercing blue eyes that you've ever seen as well, which is very rare in a horse. Like a lot of them tend to have brown eyes, so you can really see her rectangular pupils, which allow her to have a really wide array of vision as well. Right? That's right. I think what we'll do is we're going to cut to us hanging out with Passion, and then we'll come back here. So we're here right now with my friend Passion, who's probably going to graze herself off camera if she does what all of the other horses have been doing this morning. We've got a lot of outtakes on these. But Passion here, she was rescued from a woman who had been convicted of animal neglect. So a lot like Rowdy and Colette were rescued from an animal hoarder, so was the person who was ultimately neglecting and abusing Passion. This woman had been convicted and told that she was not allowed to acquire. This is a different grazing path than I thought you were going to take. So we're just going to turn this a little bit and then watch, she's going to go right around the other way. Because she's a horse, and horses think grass is more interesting than me, and cooperation is an unnecessary component of life with humans. It's good to cooperate among horses, but not necessarily with the humans at all times. But Passion, she had been living with this woman who just kept reacquiring animals despite being told that it was illegal for her to do so. So Passion was fortunately seized and brought to safety. And in fact, this particular hoarder who had Passion was the same woman who we have rescued Rambo, one of our most famous sheep here at Catskill Animal Sanctuary. We rescued Rambo from, and we also rescued Cricket, one of our more famous horses. Rambo has since passed away at a ripe old age for a sheep, but Cricket is here with us still, and we're incredibly grateful. So this was a truly notorious animal abuser and neglector in the area that we've rescued Passion from. And Passion is doing relatively well. However, she is a cancer survivor and has essentially a continued battle with cancer at this moment. We're doing everything in our power and not sparing any veterinary expenses to make sure that she's getting the treatment she deserves and needs. This is the direction I thought she was going to graze herself off camera. But yeah, so this is our lovely Passion. Thank you, Passion, for relative cooperation. So we did move outside to say hello to our underfoots. Thank you for cutting in, Alice. I hope that you enjoyed meeting Passion, who was rescued from the same person that Cricket was rescued from. It is an unfortunate cycle where we see the same people abusing animals over the course of decades sometimes. And it's, we're incredibly grateful to have people who support us in doing the work that we're doing to provide a safe haven for those who can be saved. He just wants to be the star of the show here, understandably. Are we getting some good headshots of Tigger? He's enjoying basking in the spring warmth here. He's just an all-around good chill guy, much like our Cricket. And here we have Hermione, since Tigger's probably getting a little close to the camera. Oh, your hair is so warm, Hermione. You're getting a butt scratch. Alright, so did we have any questions coming in from when we were hanging out with Passion? No questions. Oh my goodness, we've got a quiet crew here today. I don't know how I'm going to fill the time. I can talk away. So what we'll do is we are also going to wrap up with the horses in that field and say hi to Hazelnut and Eloise. I believe I was hanging out with them. And you can see that the horses are, again, just proving that they really do think that grass is more interesting than me on average. I know that they love other people, but apparently I'm not a horse's cup of tea. They're very sweet, though, and I love them all dearly. I like the endless question of whether or not this horse in particular will cooperate with me. So I am on the ground hanging out with my fairly trustworthy horse, Hazelnut. Your good friend, Hazelnut. Hazelnut also came from Saratoga. However, unlike Colette, she did not come from a hoarding case. In fact, she came from a bankrupt breeding farm back in 2007 when we ultimately ended up taking about 20 horses from this farm. They had been breeding, primarily they had been trying to breed thoroughbreds for the horse racing industry, and when the money ran out, they ended up, moving towards neglecting a lot of these animals, and eventually trying to place them as the farm went out of business. Uh, and this is an unfortunately common trend. Horses who have been overbred, who are no longer useful or were never quite what they were wanted for breeding. And horses who are too old for breeding. Thank you, Hazelnut, for continuing to move. I don't know why I thought this would be a smooth filming position to be in, so we're just going to keep moving with her as she moves forward and grazes, and we're just going to keep turning the camera. But this is really something that I find sheds a lot of light on a super common question that we get about animal farming in general. And oftentimes we don't really think of horses as being farmed animals, but they are, especially when they're being bred and raised for human sport, like horse racing. We get this question of, well, we're just going to move forward and we'll say hi to Eloise, who's on the back side of this camera while I answer this, so sorry about that, you guys. Let's go. There we go. Oh. Because everything is go with the flow here. Eloise is from the same rescue as Hazelnut, so as Hazelnut meanders towards her barn, we'll hang out and focus a little bit on Eloise's beautiful face. But a very, very common question that we get from people who are visiting the sanctuary and meeting our animals, and hearing about some of the truly horrific conditions that they're coming to us in, the illnesses that they have, the emaciation that they have. We're not really rescuing animals who are in tip-top shape, but oftentimes we are getting them from farms. And so we get this question of, if animals are the profit of the farmers, if this is how farmers make their living, I thought that they had to be kept in really good condition. Because if they weren't in good condition, the farmers wouldn't be able to make a living. And this is a pretty reasonable train of thought. However, it's really, really expensive to give someone all of the care that they need. And if you're a farmer, you are ultimately looking for profit. And so you're going to keep the animals in good enough condition that they're profitable until they're not, and then oftentimes they'll be sold. But you're not going to keep them in very good condition if it's too expensive. And so this means foregoing a lot of the medical care that sanctuaries, who are not in this business for profit, but we're just here as nonprofit organizations to help provide a good life for our rescued animals, we're going to choose a lot more long-term health care for our residents than a farmer would, and we're going to really be focusing on their overall well-being, which also means letting her just graze off camera. We love you, Eloise. And just think back to what I was talking about in my earlier segment with Passion. You know, we've gone through so many different cancer treatment. Thank you. We've gone through. I can't. It's gonna tip over if I keep throwing the camera. So we're just gonna talk while we look at her beautiful legs. We've gone through so many different cancer treatment options with Passion, and really, we're not sparing an expense. We're just trying to let her live her best life. And I think that's what a lot of our folks who support the sanctuary really want to see for animals everywhere. And it's difficult to sometimes come to terms with this idea that although animals are a source of profit for people, that doesn't mean that because they're a source of profit, farmers always have their best interests at heart. They just have enough of their interests at heart in order to keep them being profitable. And unfortunately, that also leads us into something that we're going to go talk about when I try to get a little bit of footage with our buddy Amos. I like the endless question of whether or not this horse in particular will cooperate with me. We're live! The goats walked off, but, you know, the sheep are en route. So, we're going to hang out here. I missed a question before we cut to our live video. There was a question that came, or our recorded video. There was a question that came in, Bubbies, come here, about, what was the question again, Lauren, actually, whether or not, why animal hoarders are actually able to keep getting more animals, why they're not held more accountable. You know, that's a kind of tricky question to answer. The basic part of it is just that there aren't really great laws to protect animals in general, and especially not great laws to protect farmed animals, because the whole point of farmed animals is that they should be easy to acquire, cheap to raise, and there should be relatively little regulation around how their lives look so that farmers can, you know, do things that make the most profit. So there's relatively little regulation for the quality of farmed animals' lives in particular. So in terms of why animal hoarders are able to keep acquiring more animals, I mean, they feel compelled to continue to acquire more. Come on, guys, come here. We're talking about tough stuff. You should come hang out with us and cuddle. Scouty, Zeke, Schmaticus, Zeke, Talia. Oh my goodness. I feel a little rejected, honestly. There we go. Okay, we're gonna be good. So animal hoarders, you know, they feel compelled to keep getting more animals. And I could walk into a Tractor Supply store today and go and buy 60 chickens. Nobody's gonna check and make sure that I've got a proper environment for those chickens. So nobody's vetting me in any way. And so it's so easy to acquire farmed animals, and so it's so easy to continue to unfortunately exploit them or give them really poor lives, and there aren't enough people who will step in. We're really thankful for all of the folks who are doing similar work to us, and for all of the people who do support us as we step in to try and save as many animals as we can. This is more along the lines of what I was hoping for. And I know we got a question at the beginning, which was, how is Amos doing? And don't worry, I actually did include Amos in today's video. So we're gonna cut over to that now. Bartleby is attacking the camera stand. Lauren has Violet behind her. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness.
Trouble has arrived. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
It sounds like the perfect time to cut to a pre-recorded video.
Oh, you guys. Oh, those goats. Here we go. Here's our buddy Amos.
So now we're here with our guy Amos. He's right next door to the horses who we were just hanging out with, so I'd be remiss if I didn't hang out with him as well. But also, if you've ever been on one of my horse and around tours here in normal times, you might know or remember that I love to include a cow stop when we're talking all about our equine friends here. And it's not just because I love hanging out with Amos by any means. You are a good enough reason, though. You are. It's some good eye contact, bud. We love you. Do you want to come over and sniff the camera? Maybe. Yes. Yes, we do. We're going to come over. We're going to get, some good cow kisses in. Maybe a face scratch after we're done doing kisses.